I've researched the last 11 years of Trove to discover what led to its downfall and the consistent fall of 98% of its players. From the start, Trove was a mix of something else that succeeded. It's reminiscent of World of Warcraft and Minecraft. Why have a story when you can build your own? That was the point of Trove for me and many others. It was just a free version of Minecraft with guns. So the question stands, what killed 98% of Trove's player base? Or better said, was the game ever alive? Trove was officially announced in November 2013 with a reveal trailer and a Reddit post by Andrew Krausnick, welcoming players to the idea of a brand new sandbox game. Unfortunately, 2013 was a brutal time to reveal a new game. Before the game could even gain traction, it was against some of the goats of gaming like GTA 5, The Last of Us, and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. But despite being surrounded by billion-dollar AAA games, the tiny team pressed on. So, how did two developers survive getting launched into a graveyard alongside all the AAA giants of 2013? Only to explode into 55,000 players by 2015. The answer is simple. They didn't do it alone. Instead of building a massive MMORPG alone, Andrew Krausnick and Cortland Alderstone, first off came their weekly patches. Every single Tuesday, without fail, the team pushed an update, fixing bugs, replacing classes, and adding new content. But the real masterstroke came from Reddit. A small team couldn't possibly model thousands of unique weapons, so they made it open sourced. Using free voxel editors like Quickable, players designed their own weapons and submitted them directly to r/Trove. If the developers liked your design, it went into the live game, completed with your name on it, and in-game rewards of course. Players weren't just playing Trove, they were literally building it. By 2014, Trove entered open beta. Word of mouth began quietly spreading across Reddit, Twitch, and early gaming Discord. People were realizing that a fast-paced, community-driven alternative to Minecraft wasn't just a hypothetical. It was live, and playable, and getting updated every 7 days. First enemy Trove had to face wasn't another game, it was its own players. When Trove launched on Steam, it exploded. The game reached nearly 55,000 concurrent players, mostly because it was free and anyone could jump in instantly. Millions of players have the same relationship with free-to-play games. They don't need a reason to try them. They just need a button that says play for free. And at first, Trove delivered. The combat was satisfying. Clearing a dungeon, collecting better gear, and watching your character become stronger was decently fun. But after the first few hours, players started to see a pattern. Trove was all about you enter a dungeon, defeat the enemies, collect loot, upgrade the loot, and repeat. Trove is a game that is incredibly fun to play, but incredibly easy to forget. There's no deeper story pushing you forward. There's no characters to be attached to. They're just classes for you to put yourself into. There's no massive mystery, and nothing really feels unique about Trove. And it became even more obvious through Trove's own marketing. Trine World released a trailer that proudly joked about the game not needing a story and focusing purely on the gameplay. At the time, it seemed like a confident statement. We don't need a complicated story. The fun speaks for itself. But looking back, it revealed Trove's biggest weakness. Because once the initial excitement disappeared, players were left with one question. Why am I doing this? Trove could create a fun first impression. The problem was converting that first impression into a reason to stay. And that's why the first 55,000 players who arrived at launch slowly disappeared. It wasn't over for Trove yet. Having around 11,000 concurrent players in 2016 was still an impressive achievement, but this was when competition started catching up. With games like Overwatch launching and countless new multiplayer titles appearing, Trove began to feel repetitive. Sure, it was still getting updates, but for a game built around our ever-expanding world, it no longer felt like it was growing beyond the foundation it launched with. Then came Gamigo's acquisition. In some ways, they may have kept Trove alive longer than it otherwise would have survived. But many players felt focus shifting towards monetization rather than meaningful content. Updates became less exciting, and microtransactions became a bigger talking point, and the community's trust slowly started to disappear. And by the end of 2018, it really didn't help that even Counter-Strike Global Offensive became free to play, another competitor in the free to play market that Trove is competing in. During the pandemic, when millions of people were spending more time gaming than ever before, Trove wasn't the game most players returned to. Instead, new live service games like Genshin Impact offered massive worlds. Compared to that, Trove felt increasingly dated, and many longtime players simply moved on. By 2026, Trove was already a shadow of its former self. The major duplication exploits, widespread cheating, began to damage the in-game economy and further eroding the players' confidence. These problems weren't the sole reason for the decline, but they became another sign of the game that many players felt was no longer being properly maintained. And with the upcoming of GTA 6, maybe there will be no players playing Trove left.